Hey guys, how's it going? Dan Goodman here with another quick episode of How to Be a Recruited Athlete. We've been getting a lot of questions at the office, emails, calls about what we should be doing. Why does recruiting feel like it's dying down right now? We're shooting this video November 9th. We're coming to the end of the season here. And the reason for that is that most of the Division II and Division III schools, the Pioneer League schools, NEC schools, even CAA schools, they don't have the recruiting funds, okay, that an Alabama or Penn State or Rutgers does. So you can't compare yourself to some of the blue chip recruits that have huge offers from the Michigan States and Penn States and Ohio States and Floridas, okay? The smaller schools, they're getting into the end of their season where their number one objective is to get to the playoffs, win their conference, and progress their season forward. So sit tight, okay? If you've had some correspondence and you've watched our webinars about how to be a recruited athlete and what you should be doing in season and prior to the season, and you've had some correspondence with those coaches, you're fine. It might be a little quiet right now, but I'm telling you that the time period from Thanksgiving to Christmas and New Year's is pivotal in the recruiting game. So I'm just going to go over a couple things that you need to know and be aware of as we approach that time. Okay guys, so first things first, as the season comes to an end, you got to make sure that all your end of season footage has been watched. Here in the office, we're watching tons of footage. We have 4 guys breaking down footage daily. Make sure if you're responsible for your own video, you've watched everything in detail. And like I said in our webinar, you got to make sure that you're having somebody maybe sit down with you that's a little impartial to your footage and help you really break down what's going to impress a college coach and recruiter. So with that, you got to make sure that the end of season highlight is finished during that Thanksgiving to New Year's time period, as there's going to be coaches coming to the school and you have to make sure you have a presentable product to give them. So with that said, some coaches like DVDs, some coaches like it on a flash drive, some coaches just want it on a YouTube link. You have to make sure that the information's easily accessible, and along with the video link or DVD or flash drive, you should have an updated cover page that looks like a resume. Have a teacher help you with it, have a guidance counselor help you with it, that has updated SAT and ACT scores, updated GPA, maybe an attachment to an unofficial transcript. Those are all really important things, as, you know, look, you want to make it as easy for a college coach to say, hey, you know what, Dan, you're all good, you're going to be able to be on the team, that there's no ifs, ands, or buts about your recruiting process. And the less hurdles that people have to go over in order to obtain you to be on your team, if you're a marginal recruit, the easier it's going to be to secure that roster spot. So that's really important. Okay. Secondly, when you share your video online, Trevor talks about the copy of the video in his webinar number 4 that you should check out. You can check that out in the details section of this video. That's really important, okay? You have to make sure the way it is shared on social media is done correctly, that the video is pinned to the top of your page so it's the first thing that people see. I know I spoke about social media presence, where there should be no stupid pictures of you partying or carrying on or being a bozo, all right? That needs to come down, and it needs to be PG, all right? You got to make sure also, this is something I should have spoke about in the summertime, but I didn't. Make sure that the email address is a professional email address. If you have to, make a new Gmail account and make sure that it's something, you know, it's not an email address that you use when you're trying to be a cool guy as a freshman in high school. It's just professional email, as you know, dangoodman@gmail.com. Something real simple, real basic. That's very important. Another thing is appearance. During this time period, you're going to make sure that your appearance in school is good. And with that, you need to be in school. I've heard numerous times of college coaches coming to schools unannounced for the 6-week period between Thanksgiving and New Year's. They just want to pull guys out of school. They might talk to the coach and say, hey coach, you know, what 3 or 4 guys should I be talking to? If you're never in school, okay, you might miss that opportunity to meet that coach. You have to make sure you're in school every day. barring any type of emergency or illness. You need to make sure, look, if you know, you got to make sure you look good. Take a shower in the morning. Make sure you look presentable. This is your first real presentation process where you are trying to obtain a job. So the presentation does matter. Okay guys, I want to keep this video short and sweet, so in closing, make sure if you haven't called in favors up until now, do it. Anybody that's impacted your football career up until this point, Pop Warner coach, guidance counselor, athletic director, head football coach, positional coach, strength coach, who cares? Doesn't matter. The football circle is close-knit. If those people are still tied to football, they probably know somebody that's coaching at the next level that can at least assist in your recruiting process just a little bit. Don't be shy with calling in favors. Don't be shy with calling coaches, actually picking up the phone and calling. And talk about my recruiting process a little bit. I went to an open house at Rhode Island over the winter break. It was not a football visit. It was just to go see if I liked the school. I wasn't sure what was going on with my football recruiting process. I had sent them my video. Not a lot of correspondence. I wasn't going to be a scholarship player there. So I was there, I was touring the campus, and my parents were like, hey, you know what? We should really just stop in on the football office and see if they receive your video and see if, you know, where you stand. I really was standoffish, but my parents were persistent, and so I went in, dropped in, said hello, and you know, the following week I was given an opportunity to be a preferred walk-on on that school, and I truly believe that if I never stopped in the office that day and asked them and made a, you know, formal introduction, I would have never gotten the opportunity to work in and eventually become a scholarship player at a school that I probably never would have been given a chance to play at. All right guys, in closing, I know this time can be very overwhelming. You don't know what's going on. Again, like I said, just stay positive. You know, it feels good to feel wanted by plenty of schools. You know, hopefully it's plenty of schools at this point if you've been following our recruiting advice. Make sure you get the video out. If you need some help with getting your video out, our database has over 1 million viewers. We have tons of followers to help you get exposed to some coaches. If you haven't done your end of season video or need some help with that, we could also help with that. Give us a call at 201-767-1305. Make sure to drop a like on the video and leave any questions you might have. I'll be sure to answer them with Trevor in our next 4-part webinar that's going to be released after the new year in 2016. Until then, I'll speak to you guys soon. Thanks, guys.